I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, January the 31st, brought to you in part by Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, right there in no man's land on the eastern side of the Oklahoma Panhandle, expecting around 2,000 head of cattle for the regular Tuesday feeder cattle auction, and cows too, which is not bad considering that we're about out of cattle to sell in the Southern Plains, and none of the big sales are having any more than that, especially as cold as it's been over the weekend and early this week. But talked to Jeff Slatton. He's got about 15 straight loads of yearlings. He's going to have some calf weight yearlings in there, and then also some 800 and 900 pound yearlings. He'll have a lot of calves. And then we kind of joked he had 9 cows in the yards, and I think that's going to be the norm going forward, is just not many way up cows to sell, guys, as they know the price on them is going to get higher. They've called on them so deep, and we're just not expecting a whole lot of cows to be showing up on the market. So, but check out Beaver County Stockyards on dvauction.com here on Tuesday. Drum roll, please. You know how USDA loves to have the big cover pull, and they've got a big one here on Tuesday. They've got the inventory report, the annual report. We get the semi-annual when it comes out in July, but this will be for as of the 1st of January here, coming out at the end of January. But your board was up big in preparation for that. The board was up big in response to the cold weather that we've had last weekend and opening this week, and also a lot of technical support on your live cattle futures and feeder cattle too, as far as that goes. But I was talking with Brett Crosby, who's pretty knowledgeable about things in agriculture numbers, and we were talking about that, and he ran the numbers, and he thinks that it would be hard for there to be more than 29 million beef cows in our herd as of January the 1st. Well, I was saying that I thought the average of the analyst guess, which was just 3 of them from Erner Berry that put in their guesses, they were saying that it was looking like 28.8, and I thought that was pretty aggressive. And he thought, well, you know, if they run the numbers right, he doesn't think it's too aggressive. So maybe we can get down more than 4% compared to a year ago. That seems pretty aggressive to me, but that's what they're guessing, is down 4.2%. If that number comes out right, that would be down 8.9% compared to just 4 years ago, and it seems just pretty drastic to me. And I know USDA likes to stick to averages, so we'll just see what happens, but hopefully we will see a real bullish report. I think it'll be bullish no matter what. I think anything less than 30 million will be bullish, but if we get down 29 and less, that's going to be bullish for the beef cow herd. Calf crop numbers, it's really hard to tell because they're probably going to have a revision on 2022. So if we do that, we don't really know where we're starting. And then if they have another big drop over 2%, for 2023, what they're expecting, it's just going to be hard to tell what that's going to be, but I expect it to be very bullish, and I think it's going to be some hard numbers for your number crunchers and your fund managers to look at whenever they decide to invest in live cattle futures and maybe even some feeder cattle futures going forward. But look at the board on Monday to open the week, up big, like I said. February live cattle up 202 at 158.75. April was up 252 at 163.35. Your back months were up 77 to up 170. March feeder cattle up 45 cents at 183.92. April was up 72 cents at 188.27. Your back months were up 77 to up 97. March corn was up 3/4 cent at 6.83 3/4. Beans up 25 3/4 at 15.35 1/4, and they continue to be very volatile. Weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade direct basis on your 5-area feeding region, 57,200 head. And you said, whoa, wait a minute, you said through Thursday of last week we only had 30,000 some, and it didn't look like they traded much on Friday. Well, I told you we had a lot of late trade on Friday. Nearly all your Southern Plains trade was on Friday, and that was about 16,000 head that happened after 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Threw those in, and like we said, 30 plus 16, you're getting pretty close to what they come up with. 57,200. That compared to less than 50,000 the previous week and 65,800 the same week a year ago. Live sales of steers and heifers sold from 152 to 157. It was pretty evenly split, about 2,700 head at 152 and 2,900 head at 157. A lot of 155, 156. That 152, 3, and 4 was on really muddy cattle in the northern plains. The 156 and 7 was on cattle fed in some kind of a barn on slats where they'd be fairly clean. Your weighted average on live steers, 155 and a quarter, down 7 cents is all from the previous week, so that wasn't too bad at all with all those 156s in the southern plains thrown in there. And so your southern plains are actually going to average higher than the northern plains for the first time in a long, long time. Dress sales ranged from 244 to 250. It was mostly steady, but it was mostly 248. There wasn't a lot of trade other than 248. And your weighted average on dress steers was 247.72, down about 50 cents on your weighted average. Nationwide, we had 71,200 head sell negotiated, 43,800 negotiated grid, 24,500 head forward contract, and 282,000 Formula Sweetheart AMA deal. But that 71,200 negotiated compared to 63,500 the previous week and 79,800 the same week a year ago. But only about 5,400 head sold for the 2 to 4 week delivery. That's about 7.5%. That's good. I don't know why anybody would sell 2 to 4 week delivery. We got them by the short hairs, guys. They are short bought, hand to mouth. It's been really cold. The weights are down. They're losing tonnage like crazy. We have absolutely got them where we want them. If we just had a few more people that would trade negotiated, we could really get this market up there. Box beef cutout values were up a little bit to start the week. 268.10 on choice cuts, up 34 cents. Select up 98 cents at 251.52. Slaughter looks aggressive to start the week, 126,000. That'd be 1 or 2 better than normal. And we had a huge week last week, 659,000. So they pretty much cleaned things up and they're short bought. Talk about what else is going on. Night Latch Group is here with your gross margin livestock policies. And Livestock Gross Margin Insurance manages both cattle and corn risk for your cattle that are in the feed yard. It's a lot better than an LRP for feedlot cattle. I know LRPs don't work great for feedlot cattle, but Andy Cunningham has figured out how to make these livestock gross margin policies work. So hold on to your livestock investment with Nightlatch Group. Go to nightlatch.net. Talk about your feeder cattle markets, your real-time index on DV auction. Late in the day on Monday, sitting at 179.55, up 34 cents. Look at your big sales, which weren't too big. Oklahoma National Stockyards, only 2,750 head of cattle. They can blame it on the cold, and I realize that your North Texas and your Central Oklahoma cattle people are pretty fair weather farmers, and I guess they only own windbreakers instead of big heavy coats because they didn't want to get out over the cold weekend, or maybe they wanted to watch the Chiefs play and get the cattle up to send them in there because didn't have many cattle at all, and really can't test a market in Oklahoma City on just such a light number there, especially when you spread them all out through the different commission firms. But steady to 3 higher in a light test. Joplin Regional Stockyards, 3,000 there. The market man there called the weather cold and the market hot. The roads are kind of bad around that area. That curbed receipts there in Joplin, but still 3,000 head. That's enough to call the market on. And he called it sharply higher with steers $6 to $10 higher, heifers steady to $4 higher. Your Zoetis stick-out sale of the day was Russell Livestock Market in Russell, Iowa. 2,600 head. Steers under 600 pounds are $3 higher. Over 600 pounds, 3 to 4 lower. I looked at the automated market report and it kind of showed the opposite, but you look at your best tested weights on this automated market report through Cattle Market Central and you see 366 head, 5-weight steer calves, average 557, weighted average price 208.23. 490 head of 6-weight steer calves, average 658 at 195.14 on your weighted average. Your heifers, 374 head of 5-weight heifer calves, average 555, weighted average price 179.61, and 468 head of 6-weight heifer calves, average 637, weighted average price 164.64. Give you some individual quotes. How about Callaway Livestock Center, Kingdom City, Missouri? 57 head of steers, weighed 866, bring 181 and a quarter. The little market with the big prices, Sylvan Sales Commission in Sylvan Grove, Kansas, had 62 steers, weighed 833 at 182.75. And the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Mackerson, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Russell Livestock Market. 76 head of steer calves, weighed 685, nearly 700 pounds, guys, at $200.75. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.